Hi, welcome all. In this video, we will see synchronization in Selenium. So what do you mean by synchronization? We'll see. As part of this video, we'll see synchronization in Selenium, thread.sleep method, implicit wait and explicit wait. What are the difference between three things and which is the best one to use? First, we'll discuss what is synchronization. Synchronization means sync between two things or some things, and the same way two actions will perform at the same time. That there should be sync between something which is happening. Then we'll say both are in sync, something like that, right? So here synchronization means your Selenium code execution and your application performance. Okay, you are executing some line of code. So by the time in the application, that element should be there. Otherwise, it will fail, right? There is a text box. Selenium has to enter something into that. If the text box is not there, then it will throw an exception, right? But so the synchronization Selenium is sync between your Selenium code and your application under test. Both should be in the sync. Then only your execution will be smooth. So by the time it is executing, if the application is not rendered properly, then it will look for that element. If it is not finding that element, it will fail and it will throw some exceptions, right? To avoid that, to make sync between your code and your application, we will use so many ways. The famous ways is thread.sleep and implicit wait and explicit wait, all these things. Okay, so now we'll see one by one. Thread.sleep and implicit wait and explicit wait. What is the difference between thread.sleep, implicit wait and explicit wait? Which is the best one? If you use thread.sleep, what is the issue? So we'll discuss all these things one by one by taking some examples. Okay, let's go to the application. So in one of our previous videos, we have seen that web table. So when I refresh or when I enter something, you see that the table is taking bit time to load this data, right? The outer part is visible. You see this is visible, but it is taking bit time to. So we'll take the same example yesterday's, means in the previous videos, and we'll try to do the same thing again. Handling web table. Here we'll say new class. We'll say synchronization in Selenium. We'll try to take the code from the previous web table and till here. Otherwise, I'll take till here. It has to print, right? It has to print. So I'll maximize this. Driver. So I'll import this. So I'll remove thread.sleep here. I will remove thread.sleep here and I'm printing all the values. One, two. This goes here. I think we need one more. So we'll execute as it is without thread.sleep. So I'm printing all the email IDs. So we'll give a try and see what is the issue. So we'll close the application and we'll see what is happening. Am I printing anything or not? Add into this. From there I'm printing. And we have to do this. After this, I said driver dot quit. So right, execute again and we'll see what will happen. And it is not throwing any exception. I think this is finding the rows, means with this we should get 10 right, but without loading I think it is getting something. So as it is find elements, if you do not have anything, it will be null list, so it is not printing anything. That is the reason it is not failing. We'll give a try once again. So it is not even giving any issues, means errors. The reason is it is finding that element using that CSS selector, but it is nothing is there to capture. That is the reason you see that it failed. Sorry, it closed, but it is not giving any exception. But as per my code, it has to print something, right? It has to print all the email IDs, but it is not printing. What is the reason? See, my logic is perfect, no errors, nothing, even though it's not printing. So that is also one type of issue, right? I'm not getting the emails which I required. So even though I'm not getting any error, but the intended output is not I'm getting. Right, I should see all the email IDs in the console, but it is not happening. The reason why it is not failing means with this, even though the data is not rendered, but with this I have an element. That is the reason it's not showing any errors. But now what I'll do, I will remove this thread.sleep and I'll uncomment, means I will introduce thread.sleep in between. Okay, after loading the URL, I'll wait for 3 seconds and then I'll try to do all these options, right? Steps to perform, finding the element and printing all these things. Previously we did not use the thread.sleep, but I'm using the thread.sleep now. Now we'll see. You see that this time it is printing. Previously why it is not printing, we'll give a try again. You need to understand the application, right? Before that, if you do not understand the application, you cannot apply your Selenium skills or logic, all these things here. You see that even though I'm not getting any error, but I'm not able to print everything. The reason is there is no sync between your application and your code. It is very fast. By the time it comes to this line, there is no data rendered with this CSS selector, but the CSS selector is there. Okay, that is the reason it is not printing the data. When I say, see, even if I want to perform something, what I'll do, I'll wait till it loads. Yes, after loading only I'll double click or something I'll do. But the application is not waiting. The reason is we are given the instructions that line by line you execute, that's it. Once your 18th line loads the application, go to this line and try to find the elements with this CSS selector and go on. But unfortunately the data is not there. That is the reason it is not printing anything. So there is no sync between your code and your application. So how I am making the sync between these two things? So how I am waiting until the data loads. I'm just sitting idle till the data loads. The same way I am making the code not to execute for a few seconds. That is 3 seconds. Why 3 seconds? You can put 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I don't know. But after looking into this application, you will come to know, okay, after loading this, it is taking at least 1 second or 2 seconds. You are just experience. By using that experience, you will put 3 seconds here. If I put 2 seconds also, it may work. I don't know. We'll give it a try. Yeah, it is printing. So 2 seconds is enough. We'll give 1 second and see. You need to understand the application. That is the reason I'm keep executing and explaining. Very important topic. Yeah, means there is a 1 second delay between your application and your code execution. That is the reason when you see that it is very quick. It is not even, you cannot, previously it is to wait for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you are sensing that, but here it is not happening. You see that the moment it loads, it closes, but it is reading the date. Okay, so I have given 1 second. I have given 1 second and I'll give 10 seconds. Okay, now I'll give 10 seconds. You observe the behavior. Here, behavior is important. So it loaded, it is able to identify the data, it can print even though it's still waiting. You see that? It waited for so much of time and then it closed the browser, it printed the data. Okay, when I give 1 second, when I run again, the moment it loads, it's closing the browser. You see, very fast. This is exact sync between this one. But if while I'm writing the real-time code, I feel okay, 1 second is enough to load the data and I have given 1 second. Okay, unfortunately, your application is a bit slow. Otherwise, your network is slow that day, only particular day. So you are executing your scripts. What I'll do now, I'll give 500 milliseconds, half a second. Now we'll see what will happen. You see that 500 milliseconds is not enough. It requires at least 1 second. Okay, so after all these permutations and combinations, you feel that okay, 1 second is enough. Then particular day your application is slow or your network is slow. That day if you execute, your script will fail or the required, what you required, it will not happen. Right. So I cannot rely on thread.sleep. Okay, I cannot rely on thread.sleep. The reason is if the application is slow, if it is taking more than 1 second, it may be 1.5 second, 1.2 seconds, 1.1 second, 1.3 seconds, whatever it may be, because of your application slowness or network slowness, then your script will fail or it will not work. So that is the reason what you will do. Okay, my application ideally loads in 1 second, but if something goes wrong, maximum it will take up to 5 seconds, not more than that. With your experience, you are interacting with that application so many times, by your experience you will come to know that the web table will take max to max 5 seconds. The least is 1 second. So what you will do? Why to take the risk? I will make it 5 seconds. If it is 1 second, 1.5 second, 2 seconds or 3 seconds, my script will work. You are following this approach. So it will wait for 5 seconds. It's working fine. Tomorrow if it is 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1.5 second, even though anyhow you are waiting for the 5 seconds, so your script will never fail. right? But here you need to observe one thing. When I say 5 seconds, it is waiting for 5 seconds. When I say 10 seconds, it is waiting for the 10 seconds. If I say 1 second, it is taking the 1 second. Even though the data loaded, to load the data, maximum it is taking 1 second or 1.1 or 1.2. Even then also, it is waiting for the 5 seconds. If I give 10 seconds, it is taking to load the data for 1 second, but even though it is waiting for more 9 more seconds, as I have given 10 seconds, it is waiting 9 more seconds, and then it is closing the browser, it is printing the data. So what we are observed, it is pausing the execution for specified amount of time, right? If I say 5 seconds, it is waiting 5 seconds. If I say 10 seconds, it is waiting for the 10 seconds, even by the time my data is loaded. Let's assume my data loaded within 1 second, but here it is waiting for the 5 seconds. So it is wasting 4 seconds, right? If I give 10 seconds, the data is loaded in 2 seconds. That time it is wasting 8 seconds, right? It is wasting 8 seconds. So if you use thread.sleep, you are forcefully asking your program to wait for specified amount of time, even the application is loaded. The intended element is available on the application. Let's assume your application is very big and this kind of elements are so many, it's taking bit 1 second or something like that. If you keep using thread.sleep of 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds so many times, then you are wasting so much of time. Your execution time is very high. Means let's assume you have this kind of scenarios 10 and it is taking 1 second, you are wasting 4 seconds. 10 into 4, 40 seconds you are wasting. If it is our application is very big, this kind of things are 100 or 200, you are wasting so much of time. This is not a best practice. So using thread.sleep is it's not a best practice. Try to avoid using thread.sleep as much as. Okay. People normally says that don't use thread.sleep. If you are using thread.sleep, you are not writing a good code. But sometimes this is also helpful. But if other options are not working at all, then go with thread.sleep. But if other options working fine, then don't go for thread.sleep. This is the last and least choice. Okay, so this is got thread.sleep. Now what I'll do, I'll comment this. Then how you can avoid this? What is the alternate for this? For this we have implicitly wait. Okay, implicitly wait. Driver dot find driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicitly wait. Okay, it needs 2 arguments. One is long and there is time unit. So I'll say 60 and the time unit you need to mention in such a way that time unit is a class dot seconds or minutes or nanoseconds or milliseconds or microseconds or days or hours. You have so many options. How much time you want to wait? So I'm interested in seconds. Yes. How much I'm giving? 60 seconds. Here I said 5 seconds is wasting 4 seconds. If I give 5 seconds thread.sleep, it is wasting 4 seconds I felt. Then why are giving 60 seconds here? It's almost a minute. right? I'm giving a minute here. So we'll try to execute and see what's happening. It's really waiting for 1 minute. You see that? When you give 1 second, how it is executing? The same way, if I give 60 seconds also, it is executing the same thing. It's not waiting for 59 seconds more. Only the moment the data loading, then it is executing fine. Right, it is closing the browser. I'm getting the data on the console. You see, observe once again, the moment it finds the data, you see that it's very quick. So now what is the difference between thread.sleep and implicitly wait? Here implicitly wait is, here thread.sleep, if you mention 60 seconds or 5 seconds or 30 seconds, it will wait for that specified amount of time. Even though the application is loaded, the intended elements are visible or appear. But in the implicitly wait, okay, in the implicitly wait, the advantage of this implicitly wait is, the moment the data is loaded, then it will continue the next steps. It will not wait for the remaining seconds. Then what do you mean by 60 then? You can give 1, right? But here I am saying that max to max wait for the 60 seconds. The maximum amount of time I am saying. Even after 60 seconds also, the data is not loaded, then fail the test case. Why to give all those things? Okay, there is no option that maximum timeout. If I am not giving 60 and you are just assuming that it is waiting for this element to load, so the moment it loads the data, okay, the moment it loads the data, right, the moment it loads the data, you continue. If it is not loading the data, then it will go in the infinity loop, right? So it will wait. See, because of some reason the application is not loading, means the data is not loading, there is an issue in the application. But if I use this implicitly wait without this maximum timeout, then it will go into the infinity loop. It will keep waiting for the data to load, but the data never loads as there is an issue. So in that time, what I am instructing to the application, the code or Selenium is, wait for maximum 60 seconds. Even within the 60 seconds, the data is not loaded, then fail. That is what this 60 seconds. Okay, with this 60 seconds, nothing will go wrong. If everything is going fine, then nothing. If something goes wrong, it will wait for maximum 60 seconds, not more than that. Otherwise, it will keep waiting for that element to load, then it will go for infinity loop. To avoid that, we are saying that maximum 60 seconds. So here you can say that you feel that as per your application, it is taking maximum 30 seconds. So put it 30 seconds. There is no time limit. There is no rule to put 60 on only 60. As we discussed previously, because of some reason, max to max it will take 5 seconds. With your experience, you will come to know. Then make it 5 seconds, no problem. When it matters is, if the data is not loading, then it matters. Maximum, it will wait for 60 seconds. Okay, that is the difference between thread.sleep and implicitly wait. And implicitly wait is one-time activity, means whenever after initializing the driver, if you mention driver.manage.timeouts.implicitly wait, it is applicable for your entire application, means entire code. Not only this element. After 10 lines of code, you are finding some other element, it is also taking some time. This implicitly wait is applicable for that element also. Okay, after some time you want to change this 60 to something else, then you need to write this line again by taking this. Then if you say 90, now it is overridden the 60 to 90. It overrides 60 to 90. From now onwards, the next elements will wait for maximum 90 seconds. Okay, this is the behavior. Okay, so instead of taking this web driver, we'll take another, what is an interesting thing, means bit real-time thing I can say. I'll comment this much code. Why I have taken this one is in the previous class we have seen that it is taking bit time to load. That is the reason I have taken. I commented this code. Now we'll write another thing in the same. When I go to the more, we have a loader. When I take loader, when I click on run, you see that please wait. So it's still, yeah. Now you will get this pop-up after some time. So I'll close this, I'll run again. Still saying please wait. After some time it will load. You see that? And I click again. See, the appearance time is dynamic. Sometimes it is very quick. You see that it took less time you compare to the previous 2 times. Right. So it is not consistent, that it will not take a particular time. It has to load in 2 seconds or 3 seconds. It will randomly take some time to load. If you click again, this time it may be late. It may take long time to load. Sometimes it will take very quick to load. The behavior of this element is that. You see, previously it is not taken this much time. Now it is taking more time. So if this is the scenario, there that is simple, it is within 1 second it is loading. But here, when I click on this, it is taking so much of time. Sometimes it is very quick, sometimes very dynamic behavior. Then how you can handle this? Right. So this time, if this is the one, if I give thread.sleep here, how much time I have to give? Sometimes it is very quick. Sometimes it is very, means so much of time it is taking to load. Then if I go with thread.sleep here, maximum I have to give 1 minute it seems, but sometimes it will be 10 seconds, sometimes it will be 20 seconds, sometimes it will be 35 seconds. So if I give 1 minute, even if I use 35 seconds, it will waste 25 seconds. So it's not a best practice. Okay. Now if I try to give this, so first I need to click on this run button, right? I have an ID called loader, so I'll use that loader. Driver dot find element by dot ID loader dot click. Okay, and this is loader dot html, the URL. Okay, the moment I click, I'll wait for this to load, and I'll take the text or button I want to click or something like that. Then I'll come to know, right? Yeah, I want to print this data. Okay, I want to get text, print this data. So I have any ID for this? Yeah, my model. Control hash my model. Inside that I have a P. Right, you see the P is exact text, the paragraph. So now what I'll do, string model data is equals to driver dot find element by dot css selector I'll give this locator dot get text. Now I'll print it. Press out. Simply data. Right. Sorry, model data. Now I'll try to execute this. Run as Java application. It is not even waiting for that to. Okay, I'll give some little bit of time after clicking. Okay, after clicking, I'll give 5 seconds. To see the behavior, that's it. We will wait for the 5 seconds. Closed. Right. So it's not printing the data. So how I will get that? Right. So to get that, I have to wait more than this time. So I'll use implicit wait. I'll use implicit wait for 1 minute. This line after initializing the driver, or wherever you want, you can use, but for the first time after initializing loading the browser, I am giving 60 seconds. Now we'll see. You see that even implicit wait also not working sometimes. So we cannot rely on implicitly wait. Sometimes it will not work properly. I have given thread.slip here, right? So I'll give the thread.slip here only. Now I'll execute again. It's very fast. I should get some errors, but I'm not getting. I'm not sure, but we'll give a try again. I'll not close the browser. So it clicked. I have given 60 seconds. You see that it's very quick. Something went wrong. So these are all not working properly. First, we'll give a try with 5 seconds. 60,000 means 1 minute. Okay, I'll not use it. You see that implicitly wait is not working. The moment it finds the element, it try to interact. If that is there on the, you see that the problem exactly here it is. You need to understand this one also. Now it is highlighting the element, right? If I close this one also, I can see that paragraph. You see that the paragraph is still there. Even that is not visible, but it is there on the, what you say, in the HTML. That is the reason this is able to find, but it's not able to get the text. The reason is whenever the element is visible, then only Selenium will interact. That is the reason it is not even giving me the error. Actually, it should give me the error. I am not able to find this, but it is able to find the element. The reason is it is there on the HTML, but is not visible on the UI. That is the reason it is not printing the data. Even it's not printing the data, it's not giving the error. If it is very dynamic, after clicking this run, if it is loading and that time only HTML is loading, then definitely you will get error. But this is a dummy application. You already have this data here, but I am not showing here. That is the reason it is not giving me the error, but it is not working. So this time I'll give 1 minute. You need to understand very carefully that according to your application behavior, you have to write your code. That is the reason you should know how your application is behaving. Simply knowing the Selenium API is not enough. Get text, click, all these things is not enough. It's waiting for that. Now we'll check whether it is printing. It is not printing. So still it is, you see that it's in execution mode. The reason is within a minute means it's not taking more than 30 seconds or it seems, but even though it will wait for 1 minute. Okay, we'll wait for 1 minute to close the, means to stop the execution. 60,000 only rate I have given, 1 minute, no problem, we'll wait. Yeah, you see that after 1 minute it printed the data, but even though the data is loaded, still it is waiting. It's wasting so much of time, right? It's wasting so much of time. So thread.sleep is not a best option. Driver.find element implicit wait is not working. The reason is the data is there on the HTML. Okay, it found that element, but to get the text, that is not there in the application. So in this situation, implicitly wait is also not working properly. Means it's not suffice your requirement. Okay, so thread.sleep is wasting my time. Implicit wait is not surviving my requirement. Then what you need to do? Now you have explicit wait. Okay, you have explicit wait. So for that, what you need to do? Explicit wait means how you are behaving after clicking. We are waiting until the model is visible, right? Then you are Control C, Control V, or print. The same scenario will replicate. For that, we have one of the classes called WebDriver wait. Okay, WebDriver wait equals to new WebDriver wait, and it needs driver instance and the timeout in seconds. Here it is directly saying that give me time in the form of seconds. Okay, whatever you mention, it will become that many seconds, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. After that, you need to write something like wait dot until. You see that until means till which condition to satisfy. You have one of the classes called expected conditions. You see that expected conditions is a class. You have so many conditions here. Say dot. You see that alert is present means if you are expecting a alert to present, wait until that alert to present. Wait attribute contains, you are expecting some attributes to contain some value in the HTML. With this overloaded method, here locator and string, here web element and string. Okay, attribute to be, element selection state to be. Okay, element to be clickable. Sometimes some of the elements will take more time to clickable. First it will be in the gray color and then it slowly will become, after half second or something like that, it will become clickable. So you will say that element to be clickable, overloaded method. Element to be selected, you have n number of options here. Number of elements to be, some text boxes you want to be there on 10 text boxes you are expecting. It is loading bit slowly. So you will say that the text boxes should be 10. Till that time you wait. You have number of conditions here. According to your requirement, you need to use text matches. You are expecting some text to be there. Till that time you wait. Okay. Previously you do not have this many, but recently they have added so many. Okay, title is, title contains. Okay, so here now what you are interested. So we are interested in visibility of element located. Okay, expected conditions, visibility of element located, the first one. Sorry, this is not invisibility, this is visibility of. Okay, visibility of element located and the locator. The locator is by dot CSS selector. For which locator I am waiting? This is the locator I am waiting, right? So I'll give the same thing until this is visible. Wait, once it is visible, you get the data and print it. Okay, until the problem here is it is there on the HTML, but it is not visible. That is the reason it is not getting the text. Now what I am doing, until it is visible, you wait. Expected conditions dot visibility of element located with this locator. And the 60 seconds means the same concept, 60 maximum, wait for 60 seconds. If you are not giving this one, wait until visibility of element located. It will keep wait for that visibility of element located with that particular condition, particular locator. So it will go into the infinity loop. To avoid that infinity loop, I am giving 60 seconds, means maximum wait for 60 seconds. And if it is loaded within 2 seconds, continue, that's it. How implicit is working, the same way explicit also works. It will not waste the time if it founds the data, but the difference between these two is you have so many conditions to wait. Here only implicitly wait. If the element is visible and it is there on the HTML, it is there on the application, then it will work. Only one condition. But here number of conditions according to your requirement. So this is the best choice to go with to wait for the elements. Okay. Now if I run this, it should work. So maximum 60 seconds. We have to wait, no other go. Yeah, now we'll go to the application and see. You see that it printed. Now I can happily use driver.quit. Now you can happily use driver.quit and we'll try to execute again. So the moment it loads, it will get the browser. Now the reason is explicit wait, will wait until that. You see that it clicked on that previously very fast. The reason is it's there on the HTML, so but it's not visible, so it's not printing, it's closing the browser. You see that the movement very fast, even your eye is not able to recognize, right? So the moment it appears, it printed, it closed. So perfect condition. Okay. So now you need to understand one more thing here. When I click on this, two things. Now I am getting please wait. Right, please wait. The moment please wait is done, then you will see that pop up. Right, you just observe that it will wait. You will get this element, please wait for some time. You see that if it is going means this pop up is coming. Okay, so I can say that invisibility of this element, wait until invisibility of this element, the reverse condition. There visibility of that model pop-up, here invisibility of this loader. Right, I can use that scenarios according to your application behavior. Sometimes this will also help, that I need to find this. So sometimes it is very fast. Block UA, block message, block page. Okay, and then some H1. H1 means the please wait. You see that? Please wait. So I'll take this class. And I'll write one more condition here, that instead of writing this, I'll write. So I'm showing different ways. Okay? Wait until expected conditions dot invisibility of element located. I'm giving the reverse condition. by dot CSS selector. I already captured this, the class, right? We have seen that class. So block UI, block message, block page, and inside that h1. So until this, please wait invisible, you wait. If it is invisible means obviously this is visible, and then it continue, right? We'll see this way, reverse condition of say, until it is invisible it will wait. Still it's loading, it's waiting. You see that the moment it invisible, then it is visible, so it's printing the data. It's working fine, right? So this line is working and this line is also working. We'll try one more way. Okay, I'm just giving some example. I cannot replicate all the scenarios, so which element takes much time I don't know, but somehow I managed this loader to explain very well. Now we need to understand something like, I'll take modal pop-up. Okay, I'll take modal pop-up, and okay, I'll remove this P. See my model, okay, my model, but what is the difference is happening in the, okay, difference is happening in the HTML. If it is visible, if it is not visible, you just try to take this, edit an HTML. I'm just taking this first line, okay, I'll paste here somewhere, okay, for some time, okay, just for some time I'll paste here. So I'll click on this run, okay, I'll click on the run and I'll wait for until that modal pop-up loads. We are trying one more way. We have seen that visibility and invisibility of element. Okay, you see that it has changed something. Okay, this div, edit as HTML, and I'll take till here. I'll go here, I'll paste. You see that before loading that pop-up, after visibility of that pop-up, before visibility of that pop-up, after visibility of the pop-up, there is a change in the style attribute. Here display none, the display none is becoming display block padding right 15 pixels. This is the change is happening. The div is there, the div is there on the HTML, but some property is changing when it is visible, when it is not visible. So okay, this property may help us, this attribute may be help us. We'll try. We have so many options, right? Wait dot until expected conditions dot. We have one of the options called attribute to be. That attribute to be what? The locator. The locator is by dot id. The id is my model, right? My model attribute to be. What is that attribute? Attribute is style attribute. What is the value to be? It is taking 3 parameters. The value to be this one, right? Now I'll comment this code. Okay, so now I am taking one more condition that the attribute that I know one attribute is changing from this to this, so I am using that condition. The attribute to be, style attribute to be this one for this element, this model element, style attribute should be this one. Until that time you wait. Okay, now we'll give one more try. For single element we are using 3 ways to handle. One is visible, invisible. These 3 will helpful for other elements, don't know. It's purely depends upon the application, the element you are dealing, and the HTML they have written. So many conditions. So, but you need to understand your application, which is helpful, and you need to know all these expected conditions. You see that the moment it loads, the property changed from attribute changed from display none to display block. So that is the reason it is able to print the data and close the browser. This is all about thread.sleep, implicit wait and explicit wait. Explicit wait is the perfect condition to use. Okay, this is all about synchronization in Selenium. Okay, that's all in this video. Thank you.